In the world of K-dramas, few names have carried as much weight and enchantment as Park Min-young. Her career did not begin with explosions of instant fame, but with a series of steady, strategic steps. After some modest appearances, she first drew attention in I Am Sam and Ja Myung-go, but it was in Sung Kyung-kwan's scandal back in 2010 that the public realized they were witnessing a leading lady capable of carrying an entire story. From there, her rise was inevitable. Park Min-young built an almost unbeatable reputation as the queen of romantic comedies, an image solidified by works like City Hunter, alongside Lee Min-ho, which not only achieved soaring ratings but also put her on the international map. Then came Healer, a production that cemented her status as a versatile actress, able to navigate between the sweetness of a romantic character and the strength of a heroine unafraid of danger. But it was What's Wrong with Secretary Kim that elevated her career to an even higher level. The chemistry with Park Seo-joon, the perfect comedic timing, and the way she embodied the character made the drama a global phenomenon. Following that, her private life maintained her momentum, albeit on a slightly smaller scale, reinforcing her image as a charismatic actress with classic beauty and a natural talent for captivating audiences. During this period, Park Min-young was not just an actress, she was a cultural phenomenon. She was invited to fashion events, became the face of million-dollar campaigns, was a constant presence on variety shows, and the target of adoration in major Asian markets, especially Japan and China. Her public image was one of warmth, professionalism, and elegance, showing no signs of wear. For any fan or critic at the time, it was hard to imagine that such a solid career trajectory could lose steam. After a decade in the spotlight, with an almost uninterrupted string of successes, Park Min-young began to slow down. For audiences accustomed to seeing her in at least one high-profile drama per year, this change felt like a withdrawal. It wasn't an abrupt break, but a gradual shift. Fewer appearances at events, fewer announcements of new projects, and longer periods of silence away from the cameras. Part of this slowdown was due to personal and professional choices. Park Min-young had always been known for being selective with her roles, but over time, her standards became even stricter. As a result, instead of accepting any script that would keep her name in circulation, she began opting for stories that aligned with a safe image, avoiding major artistic risks. This ensured consistency, but also sparked criticism for repetitiveness, similar characters, familiar plots, and a lack of anything to break the mold. Another factor was a natural shift in priorities. Although Park Min-young never fully stepped away for family reasons, there were periods when it was clear her personal life was taking precedence. She maintained a lower media profile, avoiding the overexposure common to stars of her caliber. While this helped preserve her image, it also contributed to the public feeling her absence. Meanwhile, the K-drama market was undergoing rapid transformations. The arrival of global platforms like Netflix increased competition and flooded international audiences with new faces. Younger actresses willing to take risks in bold roles began to occupy the space once reserved for established veterans like her. This combination of factors, overly cautious role selection, extended breaks, and an increasingly fast-paced industry, began to shift public perception. Slowly, Park Min-young was no longer seen as an essential presence in major premieres, and was remembered more for her brilliant past than for recent work. And in the Korean entertainment industry, where viewer attention is fought for second by second, that change can be more dangerous than any scandal. For a long time, Park Min-young had been an example of a clean, untarnished image. Rarely was her name linked to rumors or negative news. But in recent years, that shield began to crack. The most notable turning point came when her relationship with a Korean businessman became public. At first, nothing unusual. Korean celebrities often have their romances revealed by the press. The issue was that shortly after the relationship was confirmed, journalistic investigations revealed that this businessman was accused of involvement in financial fraud schemes and market manipulation. The media was relentless. Although there was no evidence that Park Min-young had participated in any wrongdoing, her name became constantly tied to the story. TV programs, news portals, and even YouTube channels explored the matter to the fullest, insinuating a connection between her and her boyfriend's suspicious dealings. The pressure mounted when outlets reported she had been seen leaving the luxury apartment where he lived, prompting speculation about indirect financial benefits. Her agency quickly denied any involvement and confirmed the relationship had ended, but the damage was done. This episode shook the trust of part of her audience. In an industry that values image almost as much as talent, any shadow of doubt can be lethal. Even without formal accusations against Park Min-young, her association with the scandal hurt her credibility with brands and producers. Some advertising companies paused campaigns, and contracts were quietly terminated. In addition to the romantic controversy, there were less serious, yet still harmful, comments about her appearance. Discussions in forums and on social media pointed to possible excessive cosmetic changes, claiming the actress had lost part of her natural expression. These comments, often cruel and unfounded, gained traction attention and divided fans. Some defended her right to change, others argued it had harmed her naturalness on screen. Professionally, long-standing criticisms resurfaced. The idea that Park Min-young plays variations of the same character without seeking roles that demand profound transformation. More discerning viewers began comparing her to actresses of her generation who had diversified their portfolios, while she remained almost exclusively tied to light romantic comedies. The dating scandal, the debates about her looks, and the perception of artistic repetition created a narrative that was hard to counter. Even for an actress with her impeccable record, once public opinion tilts negative, regaining the same prestige becomes an arduous, time-consuming task. And for Park Min-young, this phase coincided with a period in which the K-drama market was changing rapidly, leaving little room for mistakes or extended breaks. As Park Min-young faced this turbulent period, the K-drama landscape underwent unprecedented transformation. The arrival of international streaming platforms like Netflix and Disney Plus completely changed the logic of production and consumption. Korean dramas were no longer just a local or regional phenomenon, but became global products, competing for the attention of viewers on every continent. This created new demands: bolder scripts, less predictable narratives, and characters that broke free from traditional stereotypes. In this new environment, an entire generation of younger, more versatile actresses began rising quickly. Names like Han So-hee, Kim Ji-won, and Shin Hye-sun emerged with roles that challenged norms, crossing genres from romance to action to suspense and historical drama. These actresses not only demonstrated versatility, but also embraced risky projects that generated significant buzz, something audiences increasingly valued. In contrast, Park Min-young became typecast for a very specific kind of role: the elegant, likable lead in light romantic comedies, often with a predictable arc. While this had been her signature for years, in the current context, it began to be seen as a limitation. When audiences are exposed to more complex, innovative productions, traditional, predictable scripts lose impact, even when delivered by a talented actress. Moreover, the speed at which new faces are introduced to the public has increased dramatically. Global platforms release dozens of productions each year, and each one is a new opportunity for an emerging actor or actress to capture attention. This fast pace makes it difficult for anyone not constantly in the spotlight to maintain relevance. For Park Min-young, long stretches without major projects allowed other names to fill the public imagination. Another element shaping this shift in perception was the growing trend toward more realistic or gritty dramas, with imperfect protagonists and less idealized conflicts. While many of her peers dove into morally ambiguous or emotionally complex roles, Park Min-young remained tied to nearly flawless characters, which contrasted with modern audiences' taste for imperfection and humanity. This new reality does not mean there is no place for her, but it does make clear that the audience and market are no longer the same as during her peak. Despite the breaks, controversies, and market transformation, Park Min-young still possesses something many new actresses do not: a solid legacy and recognition that crosses borders. Her on-screen presence is naturally charismatic, and her fan base, though perhaps less intense than before, remains loyal and eager to support her in new projects. This is a valuable asset in the industry, especially when paired with a well-executed repositioning strategy. The first step toward a remarkable comeback would be choosing a role that defies expectations. Instead of another classic rom-com lead, Park Min-young could take on dense, morally ambiguous, or even antagonist characters, something that challenges both her image and her acting skills. This move would not only spark curiosity, but also show the public and critics that she is willing to reinvent herself. Another path is to leverage her prestige to work with writers and directors known for creating memorable stories. Many careers have been revitalized through high-profile collaborations, and Park Min-young has the profile to be part of more sophisticated productions with international appeal and unconventional narratives. On the public image front, re-engaging with fans and appearing in variety shows and strategic events could help rebuild emotional connection. In an increasingly personal market, where celebrities use social media to show vulnerability and authenticity, giving more behind-the-scenes glimpses into her professional life could be a way to reconnect with the audience. Most importantly, although her current moment is not as explosive as in the past, Park Min-young still has the kind of name that can make headlines and stir anticipation with just a new project announcement. In South Korea, we have seen many stars who, after slumps or quiet periods, return to the top with the right choice. The question is, will Park Min-young take that risky step or stay in the safe territory that no longer has the same impact? The future, still unwritten, will depend on how much courage she has to reinvent herself.